Hello guys, welcome back to a new video. In this video I'm going to cover the first 10 perfect cubes and cube roots. We will start by looking at the first 5 and then we move to the 6th through the 10th. Now, remember, cubing a number means to multiply a number by itself 3 times. When it comes to cube roots are the opposite or the inverse of cubing a number. So we need to think what number multiplied by itself 3 times will equal the number. So let's jump into the first 5 perfect cubes and cube roots. So let's start with 1 cubed. As I said, cubing a number, or if you have an exponent of 3, they're basically the same thing. It means that we have to times the number by itself 3 times. So for 1, we do 1 times 1 times 1. This will equal, of course, 1. So also, the root of 1 will also be 1, because 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. So the cube root of 1 will also equal 1. So let's move on to number 2, where we have a 2 cubed. So again, we times the 2, or our base, as you can call it, 3 times, by itself 3 times. So 2 times 2 times 2 will equal 8. So also the cube root of 8 will be 2, because it is the inverse of cubing a number. But now we just have to think what times 3 will equal 8. So the answer for the cube root of 8 will be 2, as you can see to the left. So let's move on to number 3. Again, you times the base by itself 3 times. So 3 times 3 times 3. So this will equal 27. So immediately we know that the cube root of 27 will be 3. Some people mess up cubing or squaring numbers because they think you just do 3 times 3. Like this, 3 times 3. Because the exponent says 3. But you don't times it with the exponent, you times the number by itself 3 times. So even if it were like this, 3, and with the exponent of 4, you don't do 3 times 4. You do 3 times itself, but 4 times. So the exponent, this tiny number on the top right, basically says how many times we need to multiply our base by itself. So let's go on to number 4. Number 4, we have 4 cubed. So again, we multiply our base, which is 4, by itself 3 times. 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. Now, our cube root of 64 will be 4, because 3 times 4, 4 3 times by itself equals 64. Sorry, I had a little slip up there. So let's go on to the last one for the first 5, which is 5 cubed. Again, we go 5 times 5 times 5. That will equal 125. So now we immediately can know that the cube root of 125 will equal 5. So I'm going to just show you a bit to make you understand it a little bit better. Let's do it with number 2, because you can understand it easy because it has low numbers. So let's say we have to cube 2. So first we do 2 times 2, and this will equal 4. Now 4 times 2 again will equal 8. So that's basically how you can imagine it. Same with this one. 3 times 3 will equal 9, and 9 times 3 will equal 27, like this. So that's how you can look at it, or just type it into your calculator. But if you don't have a calculator, or you can't use one, you can do it like this, like I just showed you. So I'm gonna get the next 5 from 6 to the 10, and we're going to do that 5 also. So I'll be back. So now we have 5 new perfect cubes and cube roots. So let's start off with the first one. Now 6 cubed, it's exactly the same thing as we did before this. So it's 6 times 6 times 6, and that will equal 260. So now just like the before the 6 ones, we know now that the cube root of 216 will equal 6, because 6 times 6 will equal 36, and 36 times 6 will equal 216, as you can see here. So now let's go over to the next one. 7 cubed. 7 cubed is 7 times 7 times 7, and this will equal 343. Now, we also know that the cube root of 343 equals 7. Now, I don't think I need to explain to you anymore. We're just going to go to the next 3, and then we will be done. If you feel confident with doing this, you can always just pause the video and do the next 3 yourself and replay it again, and you can see if you have done it right and if you have the right answer. So let's go to the third one. So 8 cubed will be exactly the same. 8 times 8 times 8. This will equal 512. Now we also know that 512, the cube root of it, will be 8. So on to the next one. 9 cubed is 9 times 9 times 9. This will equal 729. So we're getting a bit high on the numbers right here, but don't worry, it will still be very easy. So 729, now we know the cube root of 729 will be 9. And now to the last one. This one I find very satisfying because you get a very nice number out of it. So 10 cubed is 10 times 10 times 10, and we will get 1,000. So this one you can just remember in your head without calculating it, because 10 times 10 we know is 100, and 100 times 10 will equal 1,000. So now the cube root of 1,000 is 10. So this was the video on perfect cube and cube roots from 1 to 10. I may make a video on maybe 10 to 20 if you guys want it. You can always ask in the comments, but I don't think it's necessary because this was basically the explanation on how to cube numbers and how to get the cube roots from them. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. This was Mr. Mathz, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.